Now let's talk a little bit about your About You or your About Us highlight. This is a highlight that a lot of people don't know exactly how to structure, and this is my favorite thing to help clients with. I love helping clients with sharing their story. So let's see how you can do this like a pro. When you tell a story online, okay, a story about you in this case, this story is about you, but it's also about your audience. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to tell your story in a way that your audience can relate to it. They can feel your emotions, they can feel what you went through, and they can feel the desire of being part of your world. Okay, and we have frameworks for that, don't worry about it. So it's important that since it's a story, we're also bringing storytelling characters and key components, which we're going to be seeing. And one of the ways that I like to structure these frameworks is through the STAR story solution. So this is a classic copywriting method, which we introduce the star of our story. In this case, it's us. Then we tell a very compelling story of their journey, of what they went through. And then we talk about the solution. So either it's something that we're selling or it's the solution that they got to, the reality they are living in. And this fits perfectly for the highlight we're going to be creating. But first, remember we just talked about storytelling characters and key components. And there are 4 components to our story, okay, or to any story if you want it to be a good story. So you need to have a hero or a star, which is going to be you, but in a way that your audience can see themselves in your story. You're going to have a villain, so either a person or a situation. I highly recommend a situation, okay, or if it is a person that you don't name them. A problem and a resolution. So what problem did the villain bring and how did you fight to solve it? And then the happy ending. Where are you today? So it's very important that your happy ending is right here and your life before is right here. But also the way you started your business. It's super interesting if you manage to keep the way you started your business is still relatively low to show how far you've come in this time that you've had your business. Okay, because that shows a really big journey, that shows growth, that shows prosperity, success, all of those things. And right now I'm about to introduce you 3 different ways to structure your story, okay? So way number 1 is going to be more dramatic, which is the way that I like to do things, okay? It's not a sob story, but you can see that there are a lot more emotions. Number 2 is an in-between. It's kind of like I want to tell a story, but not really. For example, we are omitting the villain a little bit. We are omitting the problem a little bit. And then way number 3 is a more formal way to talk about your story. You can see that there's a lot more power, there's a lot more authority, but maybe it's a little bit less emotional than the other 2. So our framework number 1 is the dramatic one, okay? So we start by saying welcome and then showing the current state. Welcome then in your story and talk about who you are and what you do. Then you're going to go back to the past. What was life like before you started your business? You're going to then highlight the problem. What changed in your life or what built up? Okay, what was the drop of water for you to change things and start your business? Then you're going to talk about living the problem. Okay, what was life like as you tried to live in the problem and solve it? It doesn't have to be a sob story. Then the resolution. Opening your business should be the answer to the problem you laid out. How did you do it? What steps did you take? How did you start? Show how small you started. Okay, and then the happy ending. What does your life look like today? You want to build a gap between the scenario when you started and the one you live today. Before we go to framework number 2, I'm going to say if you look below this class, that are 3 frameworks on Canva with examples. Okay, so all 3 frameworks that I'm putting here, that I'm presenting today, have examples right below that you can use as templates for your own About Me or your start here. Pick the one that you identify with the most and go with it. All I'm asking you to not do is don't use the pictures that I have in those frameworks because those are my pictures. Okay, they are my property. So just use your own pictures. Of course, it wouldn't even make sense for you to use them. So use your own pictures. Okay, then we're gonna go on to framework number 2, the in-between. We're gonna welcome them in and show the current state, just like we did before. We're gonna go back to the past, just like we did before. But instead of talking about the villain and the problem, we're gonna talk about the vision, okay? So you noticed something was missing in your life, in other people's lives, in a specific niche. What was it? What difference did you want to make in the world? Okay, so you had this desire to change things. And then through that desire came the resolution. Opening your business should be the answer to the vision you laid out. How did you do it? What steps did you take? How did you start? Show how small you started. Then you are going to expand on the resolution. Expand on the process of getting to where you are today. What did you do on the way? And finally, the happy ending. Just like before, what does your life look like today? And then the formal framework that we talked about. Notice how much smaller it is than the other one. But what did I do with this framework for it to not be formal and boring, just like you're watching a company presentation that you're being forced to watch? I made it about your audience as well. So take a look at how we're starting this, and also take a look at the example on Canva. So we're starting by welcome and audience. So we're welcoming them into our story and talking about them. So if you're here, it's because this is a place for, then we're going to talk about the visionary resolution. When did you start your business? Why? What is the vision behind it? Then we're going to expand on this vision, and then we're going to go on to the happy ending one more time, just like before. How do you finish your story? You can finish in 2 different ways. You can finish by simply saying, thank you for reading my story, or you can finish by how I can help you, ways to work with me. And then you put links. If you look at the first example, the one where it's more dramatic, you're going to see that I finished by thank you for reading my story. If you look at the third example, the more formal one and the more authority-focused one, you'll see that I finished with how I can help you. Do you have to finish a certain way or another way depending on the framework you use? No, not at all. Not at all. The reason why I finished with thank you for reading my story right now is simply because I'm waiting for all my offers to be completed to put them there. But once they're completed, I'll finish with how I can help you, because this is a much stronger call to action than just thank you for reading my story. I hope you enjoyed this class. I hope your Instagram story highlights are going to be completely revamped after this. And if you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to create a story and tag me so I can reshare it to my stories showing all your good work.